At the dawn of the 17th century, when painters filled churches with golden halos and perfect saints, one man picked up a brush and did something unthinkable. He dragged holiness down to earth. His name was Michelangelo Merisi da Caravaggio, an artist who turned faith into flesh, light into judgment, and beauty into a battlefield. Caravaggio arrived in Rome with nothing but talent and defiance. He painted fruit for taverns, slept wherever he could, and lived faster than the world around him could handle. But on a canvas, he was untouchable. While other artists painted the divine as distant and ideal, Caravaggio looked at beggars, prostitutes, and laborers and said, "There, they are my saints." To him, faith wasn't clean or distant. It was raw, human, and bleeding. He believed that truth, spiritual or artistic, had to come from reality. And reality, as he saw it, was full of scars. When the church hired him to paint the calling of St. Matthew, they expected reverence. Instead, Caravaggio gave them a bar room, light slicing through smoke, men counting coins, and Christ's gesture barely visible amid the dust. It was revolutionary. For the first time, heaven looked like it could touch the street. The divine moved among us quietly, without glory. That was the heart of Caravaggio's war, between appearance and truth, between doctrine and emotion. Every painting he made struck at the idea that holiness was something other than human. His supper at Emmaus showed Christ not as an untouchable God, but as a weary traveler, hands open in blessing and exhaustion. His doubting Thomas put a skeptic, his finger, directly into the wound of faith, a moment so honest it made the devout uncomfortable. The church both adored and feared him. He gave them paintings that filled cathedrals with wonder, yet his life outside the studio was chaos. He lived on the edge of exile, always one argument away from destruction. The same fire that made his art burn made his world collapse. Friends became rivals, and his temper chased him from city to city. But through it all, he painted. The conversion of St. Paul, the death of the Virgin, Judith beheading Holofernes, each canvas a clash between light and darkness, belief and doubt. His light wasn't gentle, it was judgment. It cut across the scene like revelation, exposing every flaw, every ounce of humanity. That technique, chiaroscuro, wasn't just style, it was philosophy. For Caravaggio, light revealed truth, and truth was rarely beautiful. He found divinity in imperfection. His models were the poor, the broken, the forgotten. He turned their faces into icons, and in doing so, he redefined beauty itself. The church, faced with his brilliance, couldn't decide whether to punish him or praise him. They did both. His commissions made him famous. His reputation made him dangerous. To Caravaggio, painting was confession. Each work felt like a confrontation with faith, with morality, with himself. He painted because he couldn't stop searching for redemption, even when he wasn't sure he believed in it. His canvases were his prayers, his apologies, and his rebellion all at once. He spent his final years in exile, wandering from Naples to Malta to Sicily. Yet even at the edge of the world, he kept creating dark, restless masterpieces that still hum with life centuries later. His final works, stripped of ornament, show figures half submerged in shadow, reaching toward a light that never quite arrives. Caravaggio died young, but his legacy ignited Europe. Painters who once worshipped symmetry began to chase emotion. Baroque art was born from his storm. Rembrandt, Velázquez, Rubens all carried his influence. Even filmmakers today borrow his light, his realism, his courage to show the sacred as human. What made Caravaggio extraordinary wasn't just his talent, it was his refusal to separate faith from flaw. He believed that divinity lived not above suffering, but inside it, that every sinner carried a spark of grace and every saint a shadow of doubt. His war wasn't truly with the church, it was with the lie of perfection. He painted to prove that light means nothing without darkness, that redemption begins in the dirt, and that truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the closest thing we have to the divine. Centuries later, we still see ourselves in his work, imperfect, searching, caught between shadow and illumination. That was Caravaggio's real miracle, not the beauty of his art, but the honesty of it. Because in his world, as in ours, salvation and sin look strangely alike.